Everybody in our country has been touched by cancer, either directly or through a family member or friend. Cancer remains Scotland's biggest killer. We have treatment waiting standards for a reason, because we know the faster you are diagnosed, the faster you start treatment, the more likely you are to survive. But the Government has not met the 62-day standard for 10 years, and now not even the 31-day standard. It is now the worst it has ever been. So when will our cancer treatment standards be met?
First Minister.
Well, on the 31-day standard, performance has dipped very marginally this quarter, below 95%, and of course we will work with health boards to get that back up. The 62-day urgent suspicion of cancer referral to first treatment is not being met, but we are taking a range of actions to secure improvement there. One thing that is important, though, these are percentage targets, and we set those targets, so I am not suggesting for a minute that they are not important. But when we look at the numbers treated on both of these pathways, what we see is a significant increase. More patients were treated on both the 62 and 31-day pathways in this latest quarter compared to the previous quarter, but also in this latest quarter compared to the same time last year, and indeed to the last full quarter before the COVID pandemic. Indeed, we are treating 35% more on the 62-day pathway now than 10 years ago, and just under 16% more on the 31-day pathway compared to 10 years ago. So that is evidencing the fact that there are more patients going through and being treated on those pathways, which is important because the premise of Anas Sarwar's question is absolutely correct. We need to see urgent treatment for cancer. So if we look at the 31-day performance target, the median wait for treatment there is 4 days. On the 62-day standard, the median wait for treatment is 48 days, and we will continue to take action to improve that even further.
Anas Sarwar.
The First Minister is right. The numbers are important because the situation is stark. Figures out this week show that in the last 3 months alone, over 1,000 people did not start their treatment on time. And this has devastating consequences. Cancer was already Scotland's biggest killer, but in the past year, there have been 198 more cancer deaths above the 5-year average. That's 198 more families who have lost a loved one. This NHS crisis is costing lives. Now, we were told to expect a catch-up plan, but instead things continue to get worse. Patients worried about their diagnosis, families anxious for treatment to start, people who have lost a loved one. They are watching. So I ask again, when will our cancer treatment standards be met?
First Minister.
I'll come on in a second to the range of actions we are taking to meet the percentage targets, which are important. But the numbers I'm talking about here are important for the very reasons Anas Sarwar talks about, because the numbers do signify individual patients with cancer. So the figure I gave a moment ago, and I gave it in percentage terms, 10 years ago on the 62-day pathway, in the quarter that we're talking about just now, 3,110 people were seen on that pathway. In the most recent quarter, 4,161. On the other pathway, 10 years ago, 5,500. Today, almost 6,500. What does that say? Our cancer services are seeing more patients, and they're seeing more patients on those urgent pathways, and that is important, and that is important for individuals. However, there is more work to do here. We're investing, for example, £40 million over the next few years to support cancer services and specifically to improve waiting times, particularly focused on urology, colorectal and breast cancer, because these are the pathways under the greatest challenge. We're investing in the endoscopy and urology diagnostic plan. We have 6 one-stop urology diagnostic hubs. We're committed to earlier diagnosis through the rapid cancer diagnostic services that are coming on stream. So all of this work is important to further improve this performance, but it is really important also to recognise the volume of work our cancer services are doing each and every single day.
Anas Sarwar.
The fact that the First Minister can't escape from is treatment standards not being met means people not being diagnosed in time, treatment not starting in time, and people losing their lives. The standard response from the First Minister is not going to comfort those people that can't get the treatment and are losing a loved one. Because there's not been a single day of Nicola Sturgeon as First Minister where she has met the 62-day cancer treatment standard. Not a single day. Now, the First Minister might not want to listen to me, but this is what Macmillan Cancer Support said this week. Cancer waiting times have been getting worse for years, and today's figures show the worrying trend continues right across the country, even before the added pressure of winter is factored in. They are raising the alarm again about cancer care in Scotland. Because if doctors suspect someone has cancer, patients rightly expect to be diagnosed and treated in time. This is costing lives. After 15 years in government, 10 years as First Minister, when the 62-day standard has never been met, it's important we get a straight answer. So I ask again, when will both cancer treatment standards be met? 1 year? 5 years? 10 years? Never? When?
First Minister.
We will continue to work each and every day to meet not just these targets, but all targets across our health service. That is happening right now in the most challenging of circumstances, as I think everybody knows. The fact of the matter is, though, because of the investments that are being made, because of the actions that are being taken, the capacity of our cancer services is increasing, and that is demonstrated by the increase in the number of patients being treated on these pathways, which is important. Of course, we need to see even more treated there, but I repeat the point I made earlier on. For the 31-day standard, the median waiting time is not 31 days, it's 4 days from a decision to treat a cancer patient to the treatment actually starting. And for the 62-day standard, which is from urgent referral to treatment, the median waiting time is 48 days. So we will continue to take the action to improve that further. And I listen very carefully to what is said in this chamber. I also listen very carefully, and we work very closely with organisations like Macmillan Cancer, who do such a good job across cancer services. And of course, it is because we take all of this so seriously that we have put so much effort into, and will continue to put so much effort into, ensuring that we reward those working in our NHS as well as we possibly can, and so that today we're the only part of the UK where there are not strikes within our National Health Service. So the commitment we give to our National Health Service, which will be demonstrated in the budget this afternoon, is to continue to build capacity so that we continue to improve treatment for patients with cancer, and indeed patients who present to the NHS for any reason.